Playing time. Playing time is a very important topic. I get this I get this information from many players all the time. It's like, yeah, I have an opportunity to play here, but I don't know about the playing time. And my usual response is, well, no matter how much playing time you get, you need to put 1,000% in it. Because in my experience, most people who play many minutes, they don't take advantage of the opportunities because they know they're going to play. But when a person knows he's not going to play that much, then when he gets on the floor, he wants to show the coach that I should be out there. For example, when I was in college, I played for West Georgia. I was a walk-on, and we had players at Division II school. We had players from Division I, Gonzaga, New Mexico, high-level basketball. So I'm definitely not going to, me coming out of high school and not really having the experience that these guys had, I wasn't going to be able to take anybody's spot, you know? So I was pretty much a walk-on, and I was able to get pretty much the trash minutes. So if we blow a team out, the coach will put me out. One thing I did love about it, I was the first walk-on. We had 3 walk-ons, so it was 10 scholarship players and then 3 walk-ons, right? So I was pretty much a practice player. So whenever it was time for me to come in, I was the first walk-on. So I could say I was the starter walk-on. I'll probably get like 3 minutes. But when I got out there, I made sure I dunked everything. And it was one particular game where I had like 3 dunks. And I felt like I played the whole game. I had 6 points in 3 minutes, and that kind of like started my mindset of taking advantage of the opportunity that presents itself, you know, and it stayed with me forever. I had another situation where I played for the Titans, and we had 3 Americans at this point. This is where you could have more than one import from America, and I was the 3rd American. So the American before, he helped them move up to the next level. So of course, the coaches and the team is going to show more love to him for what he did for the season before. And so yeah, so I would come off the bench. I was averaging 19 minutes a game. The guard in front of me was averaging 36 minutes a game. But in my 19 minutes, you know, in those first 5-6 games, I was averaging 17 points per game. He was averaging 18. So, you know, my production, you know, was a lot better, you know, for lesser time. And after those 5 or 6 games, I started starting. I was starting for the rest of the season. So it took me back to my West Georgia days to take advantage of the opportunity. And I have another situation where I'm a little bit older. I was 33 at the time. And Chemnitz 99ers, I think in 2017, they needed a practice player. They was waiting on this Polish national player to come in. So I was there for a month. And after the month, I think the coach and the team was like, okay, we could probably use this 5th import, because we already had 4 Americans and myself. So 5 Americans altogether. So I had the role where I played on the second team to help the second team stay in the league, but I practiced mainly with the Pro A team. I didn't get an opportunity to play that much. I played like in 3 games and a total of 19 minutes. And in those 19 minutes, I had 13 points, you know, and one can say like, okay, man, if you played a lot more, you know, you would get more points. And that's probably true, or it maybe not be true. You know, it didn't happen that way. I only played 3 games, 19 minutes total, 13 points. But I said all that to say is that I took advantage of my opportunity. And that's all I say to a lot of kids, a lot of parents, is that you have to take advantage of the opportunity. You're not going to be able to be put in positions where everything is going to go your way, you know, and a lot of people are missing opportunities because it doesn't look the way they want it to look. Sometimes life is going to put you in situations, especially in this basketball world, where you have to learn. After I was at West Georgia, I was at a JUCO, and I was one of the older players, but I was a walk-on at West Georgia. And playing JUCO, those first 4 or 5 months from August to December, I sat the bench. I didn't play at all, you know, and that was the first time in my life where I said, I'm gonna go back to West Georgia and be close to my family and give up basketball. That was the first time I was going to quit basketball. And at that moment, I was speaking to the coach. Out of those first 4 to 5 months, my grade point average was a 3.7. I didn't get into the West Georgia my first year at West Georgia. I failed every class, so I got put on academic probation because my mindset was on basketball. And this time I got a chance to go to another school, and I got a scholarship to play on the basketball team, but I didn't get to play, but I was able to focus on my school. So at that moment, I guess my life journey was telling me, okay, listen, you're a good basketball player, but you got to take care of other things. And at that moment when I was ready to quit, I kind of realized that, and the coach saw me and he heard me. I told him, I said, I was in the office with him. I said, hey, coach, I think I'm gonna go back to West Georgia, be close to my then girlfriend. And, and that was the first time I was gonna quit. And I think he saw the integrity that I had. And he basically told me, hey, Andrew, give me another shot and we'll try to find some minutes for you. And he did. He stuck by his word. He didn't have to. A lot of people feel like, these coaches don't have to do that, but he stuck by his word. But I think I showed him so much integrity. I had the best grade point average on the team, and it was a Christian school as well. So I guess I showed a lot of character to him, and I ended up playing a little bit more. I probably averaged maybe, I can't even remember, 3 points a game probably. I want to say that because the first 4 or 5 months I didn't really play that much, so my average was really low. But I got an opportunity to play, and I ended up staying that summer to finish up the school, and I ended up going to a Division I tryout where I had opportunity to play on a D1 team. But we'll speak about that in another story. But I said all that to say is that a lot of times we want things to look a certain way, and throughout all of my experience, I learned that you have to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you. It's not going to always look the way you want it to look, and a lot of people are missing out on these opportunities because they feel like, it's not going to fit me. And sometimes life just puts you in that position so you can learn something that you didn't think you were supposed to learn. So when parents and and players are asking me like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to play that much, sometimes you just got to go through the journey, and then when you do get that opportunity, you make sure that you go at 100%. You run as fast as you can, you play defense the best you can, you box out the best you can, be the best teammate you can be, because that's the only opportunity you have to show what you can do. So when you get that opportunity, make sure you give that, if it's 1 minute, you give that 1 minute the best you can. So, stay focused. Development. When are you actually getting better? When are you getting experience? When are you getting an understanding on how to play basketball? In Germany, we have 5 to 6 weeks of summer. So throughout the year, we have fall break, winter break, Christmas break, Easter break. We have small holidays where we can put 4-day weekends together. So there's a lot of time in between work, school, where you have the freedom to get away from your normal activity. But when you're a basketball player, there's no vacation time really. That's the time where you need to get better. If you want to have a higher position on your team, if you want to get to the next level, those little small free time areas, those are the times where you're learning, you're putting more time into your craft. When you're not able to get a lot of shots up during the basketball season, during your school session, when you have free time, those are the times where you're supposed to put the work in. That's the development time. In America, we have 10 to 12 weeks of summer. So throughout the year, we have Christmas, we have Thanksgiving, Easter break, spring break, but there's small breaks, not as much in the year like in Europe. So maybe in the summer you can maybe go somewhere for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a big vacation, and spend the rest of the time developing, But these free times, these vacation times are the times that you should be developing your game. Summer comes, we have a lot of basketball tournaments. I've played in 9 3-on-3 tournaments this summer. My 10th one is going to be August 22nd. And when I was younger, when I was on my basketball grind, I remember one summer I came back from Spain, and we have this pro-am where NBA players, top league players from around the world come play. Wallace Prather, I hope I said that right. And this year, I remember one game we played against Josh Smith, Al Horford. I can never say this guy's last name. Javaris Crittenden. I can never say his name. I guess there's too many T's and D's in it. Who else was on the team? Jared Jack. I forgot the rest of the guys. But playing against those guys, everybody feels like they can play in the NBA, but you can never know it until you play against NBA players because it's totally different. I will go to the basket. I've always been quick. You see me in my 40s that I'm super fast. I was crazy fast when I was in my 20s. I would go to the basket and Josh Smith would just block it. He blocked my shot like 4 times. So I'm like, man, I'm athletic enough. I got to dunk. Everybody in the NBA is athletic. So I remember my teammate was setting a screen and the guy was guarding me here. Josh Smith was on my right side. The screen was going towards Josh Smith, but I went away from him. I rejected the screen. I got this bee flying around me, so I'm trying to, I rejected the screen. I'm going with my left. I take 2 steps. Josh Smith's coming. He's already blocked me 4 or 5 times. I jump in the air already. He doesn't jump. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I dunked on Josh. I did not dunk on Josh Smith. But I got off the ground as quick as possible, and I dunked it, So in that situation, I learned that when I'm playing against players of this caliber, I have to be, as a bee flies around me, I have to be on a different level. And you don't learn that if you're not putting yourself in those positions, in those development times, those summers, those situations. So with these 9 tournaments that I played over the summer here in Germany, I've seen guys like Adrian Worthy, Kostas Mushidi, Kevin Yebo, so many different players that play BBL. And a lot of you guys that talk about what level you play on, this is your opportunity to see where your level is. This is the development time. And that's why I tell a lot of players, I tell a lot of parents, make sure you guys are playing basketball over the summer. You're using your time to go on vacation. We're in August, preseason is starting. Now everybody's mind is like, okay, basketball's about to start, school's about to start. But did you develop over the summer? Are you bringing the same game you had the year before, the season before? You cannot get upset if you're not getting more opportunities because you're the same person. Your coach is going to look at you and say, you're the same person. Why should I give you another opportunity? So are you putting enough development time in? Are you giving yourself the opportunity? Because for some reason, of course, I always tell people it's family, school, religion, in any order you want to put that, but those top 3 things in most people's life is family, religion, school, however order you want it to be. Everything else is extracurricular, right? We got to make sure our children are going to school, we study so that we can get to the next level in life. But some of our children want to play basketball, but you want to be a basketball player on pretty much, how do I say this? You want to be a basketball player when it fits you. And it doesn't work like that. You have to study, you have to practice basketball 10 times harder than you study your schoolwork. Am I telling you to put basketball over your schoolwork? I said no. But you have to put that energy into basketball. Like that means you can't have certain things. A lot of people have girlfriend, boyfriends. They want to have the social time with friends. It's so many different things that they want to have. But if you want to be a basketball player, you can't take away the family. You can't take away your religion. You can't take away the school. Those 3 things in most people's lives are standard. Everything else is optional if you want to become a basketball player. So as far as like getting to the next level and you're not developing, you're pretty much wasting your time. If you want to do basketball in a hobby situation, make it a hobby. But I have a lot of parents, I have a lot of kids that don't understand this concept. And once again, I'm not saying that you put basketball before everything, because in one of my other videos, I stated that I put basketball in front of everything, and I had bad grades in my school. So I had to learn to make sure I take care of this situation so that I'm able to have basketball in my life. So When you have opportunity for development time, you have to put that development time into use. You're not going to be able to do everything that your normal friends are doing that are outside of this sports world, because basketball in any sport is very competitive, you know? So make sure you take advantage of your development time. Stay focused.